Hey, I bet that didn't scare you, but anyway, I tried. I figured it would be fun because I just hit 2,000 hours on DBD, which is ridiculous, by the way. I know there's people with more time than me, I get that, but if you really think about it, that's about a quarter of a year's worth of gameplay, which is absolutely insane. I figured it would be fun to just talk about some things that I guess you could say confuse me about the game. So I just thought I'd pull like 3 things together and just talk about them for a little bit. I'm planning to make this video relatively short. I'm not going to be like droning on and on and on about it. But I would appreciate if you can comment like what your thoughts are about the things I bring up, maybe some things that confuse you about the game, or whatever I label this title as. But yeah, I don't know, I figured it'd be a fun time. I just hit 2,000 hours, I also, you know, closing in that 20,000 subscriber mark, so hey, you know, maybe like, comment, subscribe. Anyway, I'll leave it here. I don't want to make this video super long. I just kind of wanted to be a little bit fun. It's kind of like a celebration for me. But anyway, yeah, I hope you enjoy. The first thing I wanted to talk about when it comes to like things I find a little confusing, it would be just like general killer and survivor tutorials in the game. So they did add like a tutorial like mode kind of thing, but I really don't think it's incredible. And I feel like sometimes when you're making a game, doing anything really, I mean, I'm a teacher and I can definitely say this is this is 100% the case. Sometimes the more obvious thing I feel like is the better thing, and it's also the easier thing to do. So if you haven't already heard this term before, but there's a term called dual coding, where it's kind of teaching someone with 2 different methods, I guess, at the same time, or at least within like a consistent span of time. You'll often see this in teaching, like writing something down, but also visualizing it, or physically doing something while also talking about it. And I feel like the tutorial, in a way, is kind of doing that, because a lot of killer powers are like described, but not actually, you know, they might be easy to play as, but they're not easy to describe, or vice versa. So I feel like something that they could do that would just be really easy, and I'm really not sure why they haven't done this, is because they have such like a thriving community, get like, I don't know, any of their creators and just say, hey, can you make like a 5-minute just video discussing everything that like, all the basics of Survivor, or all the basics of Killer? And I get, you know, people are going to say like, I don't think we should do this, or I don't think we should do that, but I mean, I still feel like when I first started playing, which was probably like 5 years ago or so at this point, I didn't really, like, I wouldn't have known anything about Survivor if I didn't watch a video. Like, I feel like I would have been like hiding in corners and doing all this stuff, and it does like kind of work, but it's not gonna like, there's so much of the game you're missing if you don't watch like one video. And I feel like if they just had that in the game, which I don't think would be that challenging, like a 5-minute video just like, hey, here's all the things you want to know about Survivor, or whatever, or like little 2-minute like segments on each killer where they just show the power and display some like little tips. I feel like it's one of those things that's like so quick that they can introduce, and I always kind of thought it was weird why they didn't, because other games have that. There are other games where they have like little videos that like show the power and things like that. And I feel like DBD is one of those games where it really, really, really would help. I don't know, it's just one of those things that to me was always a little confusing, because I feel like it's such an easy thing to do, and I feel like it would just make waves, because there's a lot of people that just don't watch videos. I feel like most people think that everyone watches videos, but it's just not the case. I mean, I have like friends that just, they play DBD, but they have no clue about anyone, like in terms of like YouTubers or whatever. It's just not the thing. And I feel like not having that little foundation makes everything take longer, and a lot of people might even quit before they even get to, you know, really know what's going on half the time. So, I mean, that's kind of like my first point of confusion, where I'm just like, maybe just add a video or 2? Like, little tiny short videos just to, like, visualize things? I don't know. So my next point is game tone. This is something I have talked about before, and that video had a lot of people going like, yeah, well, I disagree, or I agree, and it was very, like, divisive. There was a lot of animosity on both sides, but I really do think games need to pick a tone. Are you a competitive game? Are you a party game? I'm not even necessarily saying which tone they should pick, I just think they should pick a tone. Because I feel like a lot of the times when I'm playing DBD, it's just like, it's so tonally confused that it just doesn't, every match feels so different, and there's no, like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. It feels like there should be some focus, and I don't necessarily get it. I don't feel like the focus is there. Like, am I supposed to be really concerned about winning, or do I just kind of joke around and play with friends? And I understand to some degree that's your decision, but normally games kind of pick a tone, or they have separate game modes for these things. DBD doesn't really have the second game mode thing, and I could see, you know, maybe they don't want to split the player base or whatever, but I feel like at some point you either want to split the player base to make everybody a little happier, or just pick a tone. Do you want to go party? Do you want to go competitive? I don't know. In my opinion, I like the party style of the game, but hey, I'm not gonna, you know, push my beliefs on people. If you like the competitive style of DBD, then be my guest. I just feel like DBD should pick a tone. I feel like, you know, this layer has a lot to it. I mean, it comes in the form of like skins, charms, gameplay styles. I mean, there's so much going on, and it's like, what exactly is competitive, what's not competitive? Personally, I have, you know, pretty strong beliefs that it's more of a party game, and I don't really feel like it has the competitive edge to it because it doesn't have appeal to a mainstream audience. But you know, it is what it is, okay? I just feel like something like CSGO or whatever is much more defined in terms of its competitive scene, whereas DBD, you kind of have to know more about the game to really understand why a good play is happening. Of course, like, don't get me wrong, I'm nowhere near being good at this game. But I can look at, like, a player because I played it long enough and go like, wow, that's really impressive. But if I showed it to my dad, he'd be like, I don't really... it looks the same as anything else. So, blanket statement, I just feel like I'm a little confused why DBD doesn't kind of pick a lane. You know, I get it to some degree, but I also think it would be more worthwhile in the end. So, I don't know. If you have a thought on that, hey, let me know, but I feel like it really should just pick a lane. So the final one I wanted to talk about was consistency. I also feel like it's the most important one. I mean, there's just such a lack in the game of consistency, it's ridiculous. And I don't just mean in like one area, it's all over the place. I mean, there's just like hitboxes that make no sense, there's cosmetics in the game that are just like, one of them are super tryhard, one of them's like basically like the silliest thing in the world, and you would never use it if you were actually trying to win. It's just like, there's such a lack of consistency in the game, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's absolutely insane. I mean, every game is like an entirely new experience, which, you know, to some degree is good, but it's also like, I kind of want to know a little bit of what I'm getting into. You never know if like your teammates are just going to be like more of a joke team or a more serious team, or if the killer's just going to give up halfway through. There's in all aspects of the game, there is no consistency. Sometimes I'll get an update and then it's like, okay, now I can't play the game. Next update, I can play the game perfectly fine. The update after that, they added new cosmetics and the game makes no sense. And then in some areas, there's almost too much consistency, where we have like 15 lunge killers or killers that move fast around the map or whatever. It's like, they're just, the level of consistency in DBD is literally all over the place, and I feel like, I hope, you know, we get a little bit more stability in our lives. You know, it's one of those things, you know, it's one of those things that always confused me of it, like, you know, like, how much inconsistency can a game have? Well, it's DBD. Like, there's no other game I've played that has this much inconsistency. And again, this video is meant to be short. If you want a whole video on me talking about the inconsistencies of DBD, that is not here. This is more so just 3 things that I've always thought were a little confusing, and I feel like consistency is one of those things that I'm always like, what is happening? and just so many layers to it. There's so much layer. You know, it's a multi-layer cake, okay? It's all there, but like, we have to figure out what's going on. Anyway, that was the short one, but also important. Anyway, I just wanted to wrap things up. I mean, overall, I'm looking over at my notes and everything. So, I mean, we covered the basics. We covered the 3 things that I find the most jarring, confusing, whatever you want to say about DBD. First of all, like, just general, like, tutorials in the game I always found really confusing, and I feel like they don't really help the player base as much as they really should, with, like, very easy things that I feel like could fix a lot of the problems. There's also game tone, which I feel like is all over the place. I don't know if it's competitive or casual or what, and I really feel like it makes it awkward because they kind of split their focus. And then there's just general consistency. The game has like no consistency in so many aspects that I literally, I was like pounding my head because I want to make this video short, and I was kind of like, oh, I'm leaving out so much, but there's just so much when it comes to consistency that I feel like it really warrants its own thing. You know, whether that be skins, cosmetics, gameplay, mechanics, there's just so much going on where it's just non-existent. And I get it, this video does not necessarily cover these things in detail. It's not meant to. It's meant to just be like my general thoughts after playing for 2,000 hours. But anyway, I just figured, hey, you know, here's some stuff there. Of course, this video, like the biggest part about DBD people talk about is always like toxicity and things like that, but I didn't think it was relevant here. I feel like you know, it just doesn't play a part. I'm never confused by it. It's like any game. But yeah, I mean, I'd appreciate if you could like, comment, subscribe, all that basic jazz. I appreciate, you know, what's been going on. I do want to try to upload more, but that's tough. It's tough, man. Anyway, I'll see you when I see you. Bye.